Happy New Year from SkiRexMedia.com. Happy New Year, as I said, from Ski Rex Media. I'm having me a drink. 2020, as Barbara Walters once would say at the beginning of her old show, this is 2020, so welcome to 2020. Happy New Year. I hope you had a good holiday. If you ran your holiday from Christmas to New Year's, I hope it was awesome. The weather didn't quite cooperate. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's not New Year's Day. I'm recording this on December 28th or 29th, actually. So, the weather might cooperate a little over the next couple days. Right now, the Ski Rex Media HQ is under a winter storm warning. But Happy New Year anyway, because you're not seeing this until the New Year's at the very earliest. So, what we're going to talk about today is gear. Why are we going to talk about gear just out of nowhere like this? Because we're not going to really talk gear too in depth. I'm not going to do a best of. I'm not going to do an essentials. I'm going to go through things. You just bear with me. You'll get a kick out of this, but I hope you'll get a kick out of this. But first, we're going to talk about new gear. Did Santa Claus bring you new gear? I'm sure he did, or I'm sure you wanted him to, or maybe you brought it for yourself. Who knows? But we all like getting new gear, new ski gear, new snowboard gear at the holidays and for birthdays, and this was the holidays. But if you got anything new, I hope you are putting it to good use. I never get anything new. I'm not even going to lie to you. My skis are at least 10 years old. I think my boots are 20 years old. It's older stuff, but I love it, and I run everything until it's dead. That's what I do. It doesn't matter if it's ski gear, my car. I'm keeping my car until it has to go. And even then, it's going to probably not go. But my point is this. We all like getting new gear, and I did get some new gear from the wonderful folks at Peace and Pow. Check this out here. Business card for Steve Long, Jumpin' Steve, founder of Peace and Pow. And I did a little article for them on some of their stuff. On one of their pieces in particular, this right here. Some call it a neck gaiter, some call it a face shield. There's other names that are brand names, and I'm not going to use those because I don't know them, but I know Steve now. I met him at the Boston Ski and Snowboard Expo, and I've linked in the description the article I wrote. So I modeled this there, and there's pictures of that, and I talked about it. It's good quality. It's really awesome, and I made an offhanded comment either in that or in the social media post about how there's definitely a hat I want to get, and that hat you're seeing on my head. Now, it was going to be my first unboxing video. Now, I didn't know it was coming, which is why it wasn't. I happened to have a wrapped gift at the house, and I go to crack that open, and then, it says it's from my parents, and it's, from Jumpin' Steve. And I was like, that makes no sense. I was like, he's not a member of my family. He's not a parent. He's not my sister. He's not my cousins. How the hell did this end up here? And sure enough, there was a whole story behind it. And that's how I ended up with my new lid, my Peace and Pow lid. One of my family members contacted him saying, hey, we want to order this. How do we do it? And he sent it right along, and it's awesome. It's exactly what I want. It's got the Peace and Pow Patrol logo, Peace and Pow Vermont, and Peace and Pow Patrol on the side, and this cool winter camouflage. And then that's not all. Stickers, I love stickers. Boom, Peace and Pow Patrol. So that's kind of awesome, and that'll be on something. Kind of like, I already have one of his stickers on my notebook. Let's show that off too. Let's just get showing off. And this isn't sponsored, mind you. This is just cool. He's not paying me to do this. He's just awesome, and his stuff is awesome. So there's that right there on the bottom of my Rocketbook, along with my Mount Snow sticker and my voting sticker that I got the last election that we had here locally. And then he get one more thing. Look at this. A glass. The glass you just saw me drink out of. He's good for the beers. For me these days, it's just root beers. So cheers to you and the root beers of the world. So that is the new gear that I got from Jumpin' Steve at Christmas time. Didn't get anything else for gear, but like I said, I don't get new gear. But we're going to go over some gear. Now, what I have to talk about is why there is no top 10 or essentials or other lists. Now, I was talking to them about those lists at the beginning of Ski Rex Media, but you gotta realize that a lot of those lists are subjective. Number one, number two are based on voting, which may or may not go anyway, depending on who's reading which publication during that week. The big media, newspapers and websites have done these, and magazines have done these a ton of times. Top 10 best ski area, top 10 best ski areas on a budget, top 10 skis for this season, top 10 helmets, top 10 goggles, top 10 this, you need this, essential that. We've all seen them. But too subjective, especially when it comes to gear. That's your preference. Obviously, if you are just a groomer rider, that's what you need. If you do groomers and park, maybe you need more than an all mountain ski. Maybe you have two pairs now, an all mountain ski and a park ski. My pair of skis, my set of Dynastars, they're twin tip, park type skis, freestyle type skis, but they come in handy because I suck at the park. They come, and I'm looking over there because, hold on. Wait. You can see what I got here. If you're watching, I'm sorry for the audio only guys that you can't see this, but I have my set of Dynastars here. Twin tipped, there's one tip. There's the other tip down there. Check that out. All right, so you've seen that. Now, those with put those down there. So those have marker bindings, and no, I'm not going to tell you what my DIN's set to. You don't need to know that. Stop being silly. Maybe I'll tell you someday. So I have those, and then I have my ski boards too. They're in a different part of the house right now, though. So, but those are like 10 years old. And they've turned out to be a pretty decent all-mountain ski. That's what I've used them for. I've skied trees with them. I've skied groomers with them. I've skied shitty days with them. I've actually attempted some park stuff in them. And I suck at the park. What can I say? Some people say practice makes perfect. I say I ain't got time for that. Now, there's another part of my gear I want to show you here. And this all comes around to another point. This is my bag. A Dakine backpack. Pretty fancy. It's one of their Heli Pro models. And you can see I got carabiners on this thing that's holding my gloves. I also have my two mini sunblocks. Always take your sunblock. Completely overlooked. All right. I did say no essentials nonsense. I say throw in sunblock if you want to, but we'll get to that anyway. So I got my sunblock, and this bag is actually kind of awesome. And again, it's old, and I brought up Santa bringing new gear, but you're saying, Tim, this is old gear. It is, but I'll get to the point slowly. But anyway, I got all kinds of stuff. I got like 200, it's about 100 feet of paracord on this thing, just in case. I have a small pocket knife attached to it. I have hooks and D-rings and all kinds of stuff. And this can use a hydration pack. And in this thing, I got 2 tons of hats. I got hats. I got a backup pair of gloves. I got my creepy, now this is a military surplus winter mask, and this mask is warm as F. Wicked warm, and it comes in handy sometimes. I mean, I have another a mask I use too. That's not quite as warm. That's for the extreme days, the extreme cold days. But I got backup hats for you. What else I got in here? I got my goggles. I'll pull these out. These goggles are a no-name brand that I got on Wish, and that's part of my point too. I got these off of Wish, and boom, nothing fancy, just a pair of goggles. I mean, I had a pair of Scots for a long time, but I finally destroyed those. They got old. The strap was rotted. It was bad. They lived. They went out like warriors, though. Let me tell you, they really did. But these are cheap no names. I got a pair of hand warmers in here that expired in November of 2017. Shows you how much I use hand warmers. I have an emergency blanket, one of these silver type emergency blankets. Let me tell you something. These are $1 each, depending on where you can get them. You can get these for like this, and I don't have one. I have to get new ones. The single use. They say they're single use. I use them more than once, but the rain ponchos, you can get those for $1 too. If you go online, you can get cases of these things for like $5. It's wonderful. So I have that in there. I also have a pocket tool. A little Burton pocket tool in here. Rest in peace, Jake. But your memory lives on in your gear that you've made. And boom, this little Burton pocket tool here comes in handy, especially with the ski boards when they need all the bolts tightened down on the all the screws actually tightened down on the bindings. So I have this cool bag with all this stuff in it. And believe me, this bag comes in handy for more than skiing. I've used this geocaching, hiking, scramble climbing. I'm not a real rock climber. I've done some scrambling in the deserts around Las Vegas. So that's what I've done there. Now, as I said, I just showed you what I carry. And a lot of it's basic, simple. I don't have a first aid kit in there. I should. I have one in my car, but I don't have one in there. I don't have my other EDC stuff. There is that little knife that's on there, but I do carry my pocket knife anyway. I also carry a mini flashlight in my pocket every day. Prepper style, man. EDC style. Everyday carry. That's what EDC means. Check out the prepper sites, man. You could take a lot of ideas for what goes in your ski bag. But my ski bag stays very basic. My ski bag is basically where I put my sneakers and my layers as I'm going throughout the day. I don't have to get a locker or go back to the car. That's what I do. And I guess since I've now gone the long way around again, from starting at, hey, did Santa bring you new gear, to, yes, he brought me new gear, to all my old gear. The point is, it really comes around to whether you've gotten new gear or not. You don't always need everything. And that's why the essentials list the essential list that magazines do, that websites do, that newspapers do for like skiing or any other sport for that matter, they come in handy because maybe you saw something you didn't think of, or, maybe it is essential to the way you ski or ride, maybe whatever it might be. It might be an essential, but it's such a subjective thing that needs to be tailored to yourself. You need to tailor it to yourself and to your day. For instance, if I were to jump in the car now and head down to New Jersey to go to Big Snow, I would need what's in my pockets. Obviously I need my skis, my pants, my jacket, goggles, hat, whatever. But what else do I need? It's inside. It's skiing, and you could still get hurt, but it's unlikely that I'll need, I won't need my rain gear because, one of those ponchos, because, it's not going to rain inside, and I probably won't need the emergency blanket because I'm not going to be left outside all night. What's in my pockets? A card or some cash to get a hot chocolate during the day. That's it. Going up here in Vermont where I live, going to any of the mountains, then I might need a few more of those things. And then if you take that outside, like I said, I use this bag for hiking and stuff too. So that's why the paracord and stuff's on there in case I need it in those situations. But that's my situations, and I just leave it on there. And I guess it comes out that's something that's better to have and not need than need and not have. Like a gun or a condom, but I find that you don't need everything. Like, I would never pack for a backcountry mountaineering trip just to go hit a mountain for the day for a couple hours. Couple reasons. One, I don't have that gear because I don't know how to do any mountaineering. Like I said, I scramble climb in the deserts of Nevada around Las Vegas. I don't know how to do any of that. But would I pack it if I knew I was going? Yes. And then it also depends on experience level. Obviously, someone who's brand new at something is going to pack a lot more, where I would probably pack too much. You hear about it during the off season on the Appalachian Trail. People start it down south, start heading north. They hit that first town and they're going to the post office to offload their gear and send it back to their house. So it all depends on your skill level. If I'm going out groomers for the day and that's all I'm doing, then I might not even take the bag. It might be like the inside trip for me. But if I was going to go deep, if I was going to go backcountry, if I was going to go uphill, if I was going to be, out of bounds, in Vermont, we don't really have a backcountry scene because we have dense forest, but it's out there and you can do other things. I've heard of people following these power lines. If you drive through Vermont and in New York, anywhere that's very rural, you see the power lines go for miles. And here in particular, you see them, just this swath of trees cut and just the big industrial lines going up and over the mountain. People hike up those and ski down those. You might want to have, some extra gear doing that. It's unlikely that, because you're not, obviously I said you could see it from the road, but there might not be cell service there. There might not be, anybody else around. So if you get hurt, you might be left to your own devices, and you might need a couple extra things to get you off the hill. I'm not saying pack a full portable ham radio in your bag, but you might need something like a first aid kit would be nice. And you don't need top of the line for everything. Like I said, those goggles were from Wish. And I did have a pair of Scots for a long time, and I don't remember how much they cost. And I've bought expensive sunglasses too. Optics companies, they cost a lot and they're fancy. But then I've also had Folkleys too, down in the flea markets of New Jersey, come out with a $5 pair of glasses that looks sort of it, and it has the O, but it's not the real O. Make your own joke there. I don't mind if again, it comes to the point. Not too long ago, someone said to me, how could you justify buying a $2,500 mountain bike? Because I priced one out that was about $2,500. I was like, I can't. I'm not a great mountain biker. I can do it. I have done it. I do enjoy it. But $2,500 I can't justify. I don't ride at that much anymore. I don't hit the hardest trails with that need something that's well built. I'm not a professional by any means, so I can't do that. So I don't buy high-end gear all the time. Sometimes I'll splurge, and get something fun. But generally I don't. I mean, this hat, like I said, was a gift, but it's a name brand, or what will be a name brand. Shout out Peace and Pal. My orange hat that I have, that I ride with all the time. That's my main winter hat. I've had it for years. That was made for me by a friend. I don't really get into high-end gear unless I know I'm going to need it, and I really need that that I need that quality, that extra, hopefully that extra quality. Now, to that point, there, like I said, there were splurging. I do have a Spider vest that I got as a gift. I bought my Spider jacket once. My skis are Dina Stars, my bindings are Marker. I'm not gonna lie and say I don't have, don't get me wrong. There's a time and a place, but don't let anybody tell you need it. That's why this was really turned into why you should watch out about essential lists, because I'll never do that. I've never seen sunblock on an essentials list for skiing, which is kind of silly because I burn everywhere. I'm going to take it no matter what. I'm using sunblock to check the mail, kids. That's how often I need it. That's how much I need it. Another sip of root beer. But I will show you what I have. And this is what I ski with on a daily basis. What I just went through: a backup pair of gloves, a backup hat or two, a couple things for extra cold, like that really creepy looking face mask. It looks weird, but it does the job. Like, it gets double warm in there while wearing it. So there you go. That's my take on gear, and it all got sparked by the fact that people were getting new gear for the holidays. And I just wanted to show you what I ride with, and, I don't have a suggestion. I can't suggest. I will do a product review if I'm using something, if it comes across. I still have one I have to install on my skis, a carry system that I have to install on that pair of skis, and then I'll talk about it, that I picked up down at the expo in Boston. Beyond that, I can't tell you what to use, and I won't, and I shouldn't, and nobody should, and you shouldn't let them. You use what you want to use. Like, don't ever let anybody say that this is better than that, or this is what you should have, or this is what you need. You need what you need for your day, doing what you want to do. And don't let anybody tell you what you want to do is wrong. What you want to do is right. Believe me, it's fine. As I said, if you're a park rider, your gear's park. If you're a groomer rider, you're that's what you're geared up for. If you're going uphill, you need stuff for that. Like, I don't have freeheiling bindings, so these skis aren't going to work very good uphill. But that's my take on it. So we'll do that. We'll leave that there. Not an essential list, and I hope you got some awesome gear, and I hope you make good use of it, and you have anything cool or anything different, shout it out, man. I want to know, because just because I'm not picking the stuff up on it, I'm a gadget freak. I would love to have every friggin' thing that comes out on the market every day, but obviously I'd be cluttered and broke, so I'm not doing that. But let me know what you have, what you use, what you think. Like I said, as long as I have sunblock and a place to put my sneakers, I'm great. All right, I have spent a little bit. All right, actually, you know what? Before I make the sneaker joke, I was never a sneakerhead, but I used to buy a lot of sneakers. But when it comes to the helmet, I've never used one skiing. Mountain biking, yes. Inline skating, yes. And it actually came in handy, inline skating. Not that I had a concussive injury, but my head did glance off pavement and it cut the helmet and not me. Which is why I always suggest pads. I've always worn pads inline skating, except for one time. And that one time I broke a wrist. So there you go. But when it comes to the ski helmet, I haven't worn one yet. I've said over the years, if they become mandatory, obviously I'll start wearing one. Will I wear one while it's still my choice? I don't know. And I do know I know the statistics, not by heart, but I know that statistically speaking, if you're wearing a helmet, if you happen to get a head injury, it's more likely that injury will be reduced or may save your life. I also know that wearing a helmet will not prevent every injury. Where you may not have a fatal injury, you might not have a face left. I know all that stuff. I'm just undecided on it right now, and eventually I'll probably get one. I feel it's probably time. I'm probably due. I've had a pretty good accident skiing, but it was just a back injury, nothing any further than that, and I will probably get the helmet. So, but again, like the rest of your gear, that's up to you. Not really up to how you ride. It's going to come in handy no matter how you ride. It's really just up to you whether you want to wear one or not. So there you go. That's my thing on gear, because Santa might have brought you new gear. And obviously I got something new for Christmas, like I said, and that's all I'm going to do for that, because though I am putting this out on New Year's Day, and Happy New Year, I do remember the old days. I myself will be, weather permitting, joining a New Year's party, but I do not party hard anymore. Obviously, my fancy beer glass is filled with the root beers only, like I said. And I know that even if you are getting up to listening to my voice or watching me might be kind of hard on that hangover. So if you did push through that hangover and watch this and listen to this, thank you very much. If you were 100% straight and fine and have no issues and didn't drink much last night, that's great too. Thank you for listening or watching. And just thank you all around for, this is going to be the first full season of Ski Rex Media. Ski Rex has been a thing for a long time, and that, I did the origin story of the Ski Rex. And I started Ski Rex Media about halfway through last season. So we're about a year in, and the following has grown, and, not a lot of negative feedback. Not a whole lot of positive feedback, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, there's just minimal feedback, but people seem to enjoy what I do. The writing, the silly podcasts, the pictures, whatever I'm doing. People seem to like it. And the following grows a little bit every week. So that's pretty good. So thank you for that. We're going to keep going through the end of the season, see where the summer brings us. And see what 2020 brings us. And I hope it's great. It should be great. And I hope to see you all out there sometime during the rest of the 2020 season, the 2019-2020 season. Like I said, I'm not physically ready to start skiing yet. My season's going to start very late, which is partly my fault, partly not. But I accept it, and there's other stories behind that too. And maybe we'll get into those sometime. In any case, thank you for supporting it. If I'm out there, I'll see you out there. You never know, I might be there on foot. I was at Suicide 6 the other night watching their inaugural Festivus Rail Jam. And I was on foot for that too, done skiing. Just showed up with my camera to watch. So maybe I'll see you on one of those. Maybe I'll see you on the slopes. Maybe you'll run into me on a gas station somewhere. Who knows? I am Tim from Ski Rex Media. Please go down in the description. Check out all the ways to follow Ski Rex Media. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Obviously, if you're watching this, Buzzsprout, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Patreon is also there. You can go there, support the show that way if you want. Anything you want to do to support Ski Rex and follow Ski Rex Media, do it. You know, we're all community based. I love hearing from you all. I love talking to you all. I love the commentary. Jenny Joyce Stamper on Facebook, she jumped right in with some Utah commentary on Facebook one day, so that was kind of awesome as well. And I love the interaction. I've used photos from just, followers from Ski Rex Media. I've used stories. I've used everything. And, you guys are awesome. And thank you for listening and watching. And Happy New Year one more time. Tim from Ski Rex Media one more time. And I will see you on the slopes later. And Happy New Year.